Kicks 105, the country leader, today's best country and your all-time favorites. Another heat advisory in effect as we go for the high temperature of about 98 today. But the good news is we have the increasing rain chances, 30% this afternoon, up to a 50% chance by the weekend. Now, as promised, we have in the studio, I've been looking forward to this now and actually been trying to arrange this for quite some time. And finally, our schedules have kind of intertwined now. We have in the studio Julie Hemphill, who is not only from Lufkin, a past member of the Panther Pride, but now a member of the Houston Texans Cheerleaders. Did I get that all right?
Yep.
Good. Well, first of all, good morning. Thank you very much for coming in.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Now, before we start talking about the Julie Hemphill story, let's first of all kind of plug why you are actually in town and what you have been doing with Lufkin High School.
Yeah, I've actually been working with the Panther Pride and the JV Drill, choreographing routines for them and teaching them for their upcoming season.
What kind of feeling is that, though, just to kind of come back to the old stomping grounds and now working with ladies that I guess are about, 4, 5, 6 years younger than you now?
Yeah, it's really weird. Actually, looking out whenever I'm teaching them, I'm like, who? I don't recognize most of these faces.
Right,
so it's weird coming back, but it's also a great honor to be asked to come and teach dances to the girls that were younger than me, and it's awesome.
Very cool. All right, so let's jump into the Julie Hemphill story now. We've kind of covered from the start and to the end now that you're a Houston, Texas cheerleader, but just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would, please.
Okay, yeah. I recently just graduated from A&M, where I danced for 4 years on the Aggie dance team. I kind of miss it a lot,
And said, you know what, even though college is over and even though my dancing career with that is over, I still want to do some more dancing, huh?
Of course, yeah. I just couldn't let it go. And I had a girl who was on the dance team with me at A&M who cheered for the Texans for 2 years and kind of inspired me to try out for the team. And I'm so glad I did, because now I get to dance all the time.
Well, that's cool. And we're going to talk more about that here momentarily. Well, let's jump back to, since you are a hometown girl, and I'm sure a lot of folks kind of relate to this now, obviously Panther Pride, but before that, when did you start, going to classes to dance? I mean, were you like the 3 and the 4-year-old girls and the whole bit, or?
2.
2?
My mom started me early.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know if that was allowed, but she did it anyways.
And was it something that you just have known from the beginning, or do you have a passion for it immediately? Or?
Well, when I look back on home videos, I'm always dancing, so I guess it's always been in me that I've just always loved to dance, and yeah, I just can't stop. Was there any particular type of dance that you like more than others? There's some people that more of a kind of a jazz or maybe ballet or what? Oh no, not ballet. Definitely hip hop and pom. Those are my 2 favorite.
Okay,
for sure.
Okay, so let's kind of jump forward now. You've gone to A&M. You were on the dance team there for 4 years, which I can only imagine was extremely exciting.
Oh, it was awesome. The SEC tournaments that we got to go on, we got to travel all the time. It was an amazing experience.
Okay.
I'm so grateful for it. And
so now your friend tells you about the possibility or inspires you to be to try out for the Houston Texans Cheerleaders. So how do you do that? What's your registration process, first of all?
It's a very intense process. About 1,000 girls try out, and you go in, you perform a couple of routines, and then they start making cuts. And then eventually they'll narrow it down to 50 girls, and there'll be a week-long process of training camp. And then from there, they narrow it down to the 35. And there's interviews, a swimsuit round. It's very intense, but I went in prepared, so.
Yeah, that's the thing I guess I'm going to kind of ask for. I'm not going to try to cross over any lines here, but you said about 1,000 girls that come in for this, and I'm sure the vast majority of those 1,000 have major dance training. Think that they're pretty good at what they do, and they're prepared as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the tension in the room like? I mean, is there true camaraderie, or is there like, I beat her?
So going into the process, I really thought that it was going to be, I wouldn't meet the most genuine people, but it ended up being an amazing experience. I never met anyone that rubbed me the wrong way. Everyone was nice, and even though it was like a competitive setting, everyone was very welcoming and made me feel comfortable.
So the cuts were like, okay, you said there was about 1,000 people. What was the first cut? How many people made the first cut?
I'd say probably they cut it in half.
Okay.
Or more.
And then beyond that, how did the cuts work?
The cuts so the first cut was probably half. The second one, they probably brought it down to 300. And then the third one was the final 100. And then from there, they cut it down to 50. And
part of that, especially as you got down to the last 2 or 3 cuts there, that part of that was fan voted, was it not?
Actually, that doesn't come into play until the final 50.
Final one, okay.
Yeah, that once that hits, there's the online fan vote process, which actually goes into a lot of the final score. And I was lucky enough to have Lufkin backing me on that. So that was awesome.
Absolutely. When they do the cuts, I mean, how do they do it? Is it just like do they inform you by way of how? So
they would have numbers up on the board. And if you didn't see your number, then you were cut. So it was brutal, I
guess so, yeah. All looking at the same board, and there's some of you that made it and some of you did not.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you knew that you were make the final cut of how many cheerleaders?
There's 35 on the team.
35 on the team. Well, what was your feeling? What was your reaction? I realized that you had to be overjoyed, but just kind of take us through that.
Well, I was, I think, the 6th or 7th name called. So a couple of my friends that I had made through the process were called before me. So I was getting a little nervous. I was like, oh, I hope they call my name. And they finally did. And it was just an amazing feeling. I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, I've made other dance teams in the past, but I put so much work into it. And it was just great knowing that all my hard work and dedication to trying out and making the team finally paid off. And like I said before, Lufkin has just backed me up a lot throughout the whole process. So I know that I couldn't have done it without the community support too.
How long did it take you to call Mom?
Not long at all. I called her right away. I think she's the first person I called.
Okay, well, let's bring Mom into this. Can we bring Mom to this as well?
Of course.
Okay, bring the microphone down your way. We have Debbie here as well, and
Hi.
well, we can use separate microphones there. So, as tense as it was for her, how tense was it for you to kind of endure this as a mom?
Oh my goodness, it was terrible because I was waiting. I thought I could pull it up online on my phone. They were going to announce it, and I was sitting at some restaurant,
probably IHOP.
I think yeah. And we were like trying to get it in, and it wouldn't come in. And finally, I found out you had to actually be on a laptop to figure it out.
You couldn't be on a mobile device.
Could not be on a mobile device. So I did not find out until Julie texted me, and I was like, I was in the restroom.
Oh my gosh.
And I was going, oh my gosh, in the restroom. So I'm sure whoever was in the restroom with me was going, what in the world?
Is there a mouse in here somewhere? What's going on?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, at the restaurant.
That's outstanding. Okay, so you're on the team, you've made the team, and now obviously people know immediately that you'll be performing at the home games of the Houston Texans when that comes up. But there's more to it than that, much more to it.
Yes.
So what other appearances do you have?
We have about 50 appearances a year. A lot of it is going out into the community and helping. I recently had an appearance at the Boys and Girls Club in Houston where I helped them learn how to cook. So that's been my favorite one so far because it was great seeing how excited they were to learn to bake cookies and all of that. And I've had a lot of other ones where some of them I dance at, some of them I don't. And even though I have to do 50, it's not a chore.
Right.
I look forward to it.
So you have yet to be on the field there at Energy when the first, I'm sure you're going to be there obviously when the first preseason game, which will be a rush, I'm sure.
Yes.
And then, of course, the first regular season game, which I'm sure will be a bigger rush. Are you contemplating how you are going to feel as far as it going to be nervous energy? Is it going to be, I got this? Is it going to be, what do you think's going to be running through your head?
I got this.
Really? Good.
Well, as a team, we're all very supportive. So I know that even if I'm nervous, they'll be there to help me. So I'll feel better about it. But also, this is my first time to perform since high school on a football field because at A&M we didn't perform for football. So that'll be a whole nother experience in itself because I'm used to basketball. So now we got football. Even more people.
That is great. So are you going to, Mom, go see her at some of the games?
Oh, you bet.
All of them? Or
the parents Julie gets 2 season tickets to all the games. So
Very good. So how proud are we?
very proud. Me being, a drill team director, and when she was an officer and she was about to graduate from high school, and I was like, oh, please want to keep dancing. And she told me that she wanted to try out for the, Aggie dance team. I was like, yes. And then she made it, because that was like really intense as well, because they're very competitive, their tryout process as well. And you try out every year for that one as well. And so she danced, and I went to practically every time she performed, and that was on the week as well, during the week. And then coming towards her senior year, I was like, thinking to myself, I would love to keep seeing her dance. And then she was like, I think I want to try out for the Houston Texans. I was like, you bet. Whatever it is that I need to do to help you, I'll be there. So, yeah. I'm very proud of her.
And she got the entire school district to back me.
That's got to be a great feeling.
Lufkin supports Lufkin. We're a very tight-knit community, so proud of it, too.
So when is the first – do you know when the first preseason game at NRG is?
Yeah, that's August 20th.
So we're just less than a couple of weeks from that.
Yeah, it's at 7 o'clock.
And how intense are the practices leading up to this?
Well, we practice 3 times a week. It's normally in the evening. Some of the practices don't end until pretty late. So
really?
It's a pretty – I've been using intense a lot, but it's intense.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely not something that you just do just because, I want to be a Texans cheerleader. You have to
really work
commit so much time to it. And if you do, it's definitely worth it. But
now, are you able to hold down another job while doing this? Or
yeah, I'm actually working on my teaching certificate currently, but I also have a part-time job at Nordstrom Rack in League City.
Okay, very good. All right, outstanding. Well, that's wonderful that you've come in to tell us of the entire story here. And so I guess what we'll have to end up doing for those that can't make the games, we just got to, every once in a while, of course, they'll have the cutaway shots to the cheerleaders. So that's what we got to look for,
Exactly.
So let's
maybe
see.
I'll make it.
Let's hope so. Yeah. And not to mention the fact you mentioned, I didn't even realize this until you told me before the interview even started, but NRG Stadium is hosting the Super Bowl this year?
Yes, we're very excited.
And so you guys will be at performing in some capacity at that game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we don't know how yet, but we'll be there.
Still,
that's the important part.
Yeah, that's the rookie year, Houston Texans cheerleader. You get to be at the Super Bowl.
It's the best time to be an NFL cheerleader.
How about that? That is fantastic. Well, any closing thoughts, Mom, that you want to say about your daughter, Julie?
I'm just super proud of her, and I know that she'll just go out there and dance her heart out. That's what she always has done.
All right, very good. We'll let you get out and do the last day of camp with the Panther Pride, and look forward to seeing you on TV.
Yes, thank you, Danny.
Thank you.